So I wanted to make a video after my experience, because now I've had experiences with CAP in person, CAP online, not from a accredited CAP trainer, facilitator, and inner dance. Now, what I'm gonna share, what I'm gonna say is my subjective experience, which is very relative to me, right? This is how I experienced it. I'm not an expert or anything, I'm just sharing my own experience. So, when I went to CAP, first thing that I noticed is when you get into the room in a CAP session, you feel a certain kind of electricity, a certain kind of energy in the room. It's like there's like unseen tension, energy in the room already present. I don't know if it's because of the collective, because like the facilitators talk about it's divine timing. I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea what's happening there. But I do know. Okay, forget about divine timing. Forget that I said that. I don't know why, but the energy there is really electric. And you feel it in the air. I felt it in the air. Now, during the session, I really felt a warm glow come over me. There was a warmth, there was immediately a shift in consciousness. There was a shift in my awareness, and it was just like, whoa, the energy is just like moving, and there's so much happening. The facilitator comes around, touches you. When the facilitator touches you, it feels like you're being touched by an angel. It feels like, well, most of the time. So most of the time when she came, she touched me. It was like you're getting touched, and the energy. There's this feeling like, you know, the moment you're being touched, it's like there's energy coming through the hand, and it's seeping into your flesh, and it feels like a warmth, like a caring, loving energy. Is like it's melting you. It feels like a divine touch, whatever that means, but it feels absolutely amazing. Now, sometimes they touch you here, sometimes like I've had like touch me here, different spots on the feet, whatever, and there are different sensations. Sometimes there's like, I remember one touched me here, and there was a block in this place, because there was a fear to fall in love. Afterwards, I recognized that. So there was like the energy was wanting to pass through, but because there was a block, it was like this expression that needed to be shouted out, like I was just shouting. And then once the block was released and worked out, the energy, like I remember, facilitator did this, and I just started to have like heart orgasms. All of a sudden, like my heart was like fluttering, and all of a sudden, like my whole body was like floating, like I'm just floating in love, in air. Like I'm just like, it feels like you're falling through air, but all your body is like tingling with love, like, oh my god, I'm just falling in love. And I open my eyes, I'm looking, I'm still lying on the ground here, okay, but it feels like you're falling through love, in love. You're falling with love, you're falling into love. It's amazing. Now, that facilitator touch, I've also had a private session with a facilitator, and it's amazing. It felt like in a CAP session, in a normal CAP session, you're having a so there's a process that starts, whatever theme's going on, a blockage that's being worked through, or a certain release in emotion or energy or sound. So what happens is there's a movement in consciousness. You're aware that something is happening, and then it reaches a peak, it reaches expression, or you realize there's a block, and then it quiets down, and you can lie still for a while, or a new movement can start. Sometimes when the facilitator comes to you, you definitely, like, if there's a process going on, it goes deeper. If your process is halted for a while, there's a new process that will start. That was my experience. Now, I don't remember this exactly. I'm just talking from my own, like, whatever I still remember. But uh, the facilitator, whenever she comes, because I've always worked with women, it's always a very, you really feel the presence and the impact that they have, that their presence has. Now, in a private camp session, one-on-one, you're constantly being worked on. So there's constant process, constant wattage. It feels like you're plugged into this power outlet, and it's just like energy is just streaming, and it's constantly like one wave, one wave, one wave, one wave, one wave, one wave. And even if you're lying still, it just like you still feel like in that stillness, like. So it's a constant energetic feeling, or a constant energetic connection. It's so intense. I can recommend it to everybody. So then I had experiences with inner dance. Now with inner dance, they're using, in CAP, they're using music, very specific music, very nice music. And you can hear the music is, they're like songs. And if you go to different CAP facilitators, you will recognize some songs that they have. You will recognize some similarities, and you will feel that the songs have a certain quality. And the way the songs are put into the playlist, there's always like it's building up and then it's coming down. And there's, you know, the themes of the songs or the style of the songs, it's very like similar. It's very energetic. It's very, can be very tribal, can be very electric, can be, it's very sensitive, in the sense that when you hear those songs, they will inspire you or touch you on some level. They're usually like songs that are very triggering, that invite you to a certain kind of expression or some kind of emotion or some kind of movement in consciousness. They're really like potent songs. They're tribal songs, shamanic songs, love songs, different songs. In inner dance, like, because I've gone through a facilitator training, you notice that the songs that are being used are built up very like consciously. There are certain brain waves, a certain way to build up the music, a certain way to build down the music, and there are like certain musics that stimulate certain brain waves. So there's like a whole theory behind this. I'm not gonna go into that. Like, even everything that I can say, it's all what I remember, but it can still be wrong. So just know that I'm just sharing my experience and what I still remember. So when in inner dance, when the music starts, like, I remember the first moment when the music started, it was online, and all of a sudden, like, I realized, like, oh, my own energy is being activated. The difference is, I don't feel like I'm connected to this power outlet like I'm in CAP sessions, but I do feel like, whoa, my own energy is active. And I was having visuals, and I was having experiences, movement, and consciousness. It felt very similar, but the difference for me in my own experience was there's a qualitative difference. In CAP, it was like a fire, like, and it was like burning, and it was stimulating, and it was like there was sparks and explosions and all kinds of releases and how do you call it, eruptions, and a certain kind of potency, so potent, like so charged. Now with inner dance, it's like through the music, it's like you're going through drift sand, you're gliding into this depth. Like, that's how I felt, like in this depth of this vibration of like this wholeness, there's this quality of water. If with the CAP there's this quality of fire, to my own feeling, but I can be wrong. Maybe they're all dependent on the music, but in my experience, there was like this quality of fire always. Fire, earth, like those kind of things. Maybe air, but mostly fire. Anyway, forget that part. Skip that part. That was like, I'm not even sure about that. But in inner dance, what I notice is, immediately it's like you're shifting, you're drifting into this, and it's like this very watery like quality where you're just being taken into this wave very slowly. And then there's these waves that are coming. But the thing is, you're always staying in this depth. You're always staying in this deep layer when there's movements, when there's like movements in consciousness, there's visions, there's changes, there's expressions. It's very beautiful. And the music is continuous. So in CAP, there's like a song starts, plays. A song starts, plays. In inner dance, it's continuous music. The songs are on usually in such the way I experience it are set up in such a way that the music is continuously flowing from one song into another. So they're using like an app to transitions, and that way you really feel you're just in this whole flow of the water, and you're constantly into this singularity, in this no, not singularity, this core maze, and you're just exploring different parts of the maze, but you feel the grandiosity of it, the expansiveness of it, like whoa, so deep, so immersive, so expansive, and you always feel that sense of like, I'm in this depth, and whatever's happening on the foreground, all these movements of consciousness, I'm always in this depth. In CAP, in my own experience, it was always like, so it was, yeah, it was quite different experience for me. Now, very subjective to my own experience, what I remember, what I projected on it. Keep that in mind. If you have different experience, please share. Now, in CAP online, from an uncredited CAP facilitator, so not a CAP facilitator, when I got it, it was immediately this connection to this power source. Like, I felt like, okay, energy's connected to me, something streaming, my energy being awakened, and the movements in consciousness. The energy's moving, the body's moving, the mudras, the expressions are happening. It has that same quality like in a live CAP session. But the intensity, there's an intensity that was missing. And I don't know whether this intensity was because of the facilitator, or because I hadn't eaten, or maybe it is a bit less intense. I don't know, really. I don't know. I will have to figure out and try out more sessions in the afternoon or in the evening after having eaten. But I did notice that the intensity of the session, like the vibrancy, the aliveness, the energetic charge of it was like a bit more dim than in person. In person, it's like just like it's like a volcano, so much energy, like an electricity storm, like. But here, it was just like energy, but it wasn't that volatile, I guess, or that potent. It was there, but it was more smoother. It was more okay. I was still powerful, still these very like peak experiences. No, not peak experiences. These very like peak moments where it's like, it's just the intensity was a bit different. But the session was still great. It was still awesome. It was still amazing. Now in inner dance, I didn't expect this. I thought like, I'm not gonna have like these visions because I'm not connected to a source, to an energy source like in CAP. But to my surprise, in inner dance, I would have experiences of where I saw visions, where I saw like beautiful images of all kinds of things, and very similar to what I saw in CAP also. There was a like the things that I've seen in CAP. Holy moly! Like just off the top of my head, like angelic beings appearing like in a row, grabbing my hands, and we're singing all together, Elohim, Elohim, Elohim. All the while you hear this music, you hear everybody dancing, like having a blast, and you're just like holy moly. Or light beings that are appearing and like initiating you into something. Or what was there also? Meeting, I don't know if I should say this, but meeting like a very specific light being, hugging him, feeling that, and having like conversations. Such precious moments, such precious deep moments that are like so like wow. I got to experience that. It was so gorgeous, so precious. And then in inner dance, for me, it was so romantic. Just like uncovering the heart space and being in the heart space, and it's so beautiful, so beautiful. Yeah. So CAP in person, really recommend it. Inner dance online, awesome, awesome. It works. Apparently, there were people in my class who were doing inner dance on themselves. I think one or two people. I think one person for sure was doing inner dance just by listening to playlists and having her own energy activated, going through the process every day. She was doing it every day. I asked the teacher, like, is this allowed? And she's like, yeah, if you've like, that's no problem. But with CAP, I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if you can do that. If you can do it every day. I know with CAP for certain, like one CAP facilitator recommended it to me, and she told me, like Venant, the founder of CAP, he told people that there needs to be at least 1 week of integration in between. A facilitator that I know did 2 weeks, one session every 2 weeks. Another facilitator, she told me, like, my advice to you would be to not do CAP for a while. Instead of getting a transmission from somebody, just, I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was like, just vibrate with yourself, vibrate with what is there already, instead of getting transmissions. So I don't know if you can do CAP every day. I know there are immersions when you do it for a couple of days. But yeah. So inner dance, yeah. CAP. Okay, a CAP online. Yeah, I can recommend it. It's awesome. It's very easy, very comfortable to do at home. It's effective. It's beautiful. It's for me, it felt like a lighter version of an in-person CAP. But all of these things, like everything that I said, is my own experience. I'm trying to translate it and share it with you guys. Honestly, if there's one thing that I can like truly say is like, all these processes, just try them out for once and see what resonates for you. What are you at this moment ready for? What are you at this moment receptive to? What do you feel confident with? What do you feel drawn to? For me, I don't know. I'm just in the beginning of my CAP journey. I was drawn to go to CAP sessions as much as possible, and now I just let myself feel the calling to a session, or let sessions come to me where somebody's inviting me or something is offered. Like for instance, there's this in Ireland, there's this woman, I think it's in Ireland, but there's this woman every Tuesday, she's doing silent CAP. I don't know if it's CAP or a different name, but she's doing silent energy transmissions, and it's free. She said, I'm doing it with the intention to support people's awakening process. If you're interested in that, tell me. I will send you the link. I will ask, of course, if it's okay, but she said it was free. So I will check that out, because for me, in my own training with inner dance, it was very easy for me to, once the music starts, tune in and just go through the process. But then my teacher told me, like, try to tune into the energy without the music. And I haven't done that. There's still this thought, like, I need to have some initiation, transmission, or some activation that I may be like, this key is unlocked now, and I can like use this key to connect to this energy and then do this thing with the people. It's so funny how the mind works. Anyway, I hope, what do I hope? I hope you all are enjoying yourself. May all beings enjoy happiness at the root of happiness. What I notice with these things, with these modalities, is like, I see it becoming more and more popular, popping up more and more in different countries. And it's interesting, because can you imagine if people are going to be using these things in every country, in multiple cities, over a span of 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? Can you imagine what that will do with the collective consciousness of people? If a lot of people are going to get, more and more people are going to be activated, like, can you imagine if something like CAP, inner dance, like all these processes are going to be like the same thing, like going to a doctor or to a massage therapist or going to a rehabilitation therapist or a kinesist, you know, somebody who's like helping you after an injury, or like, yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing that this is now becoming so. I remember in one of my CAP sessions, I was like, I had this question: God, what is your will? I asked it a couple of times, and then I saw this vision of the world, and I saw a light being on the world appear. So like the globe, and I saw a being of light, and then I saw another being of light, and more beings of light, and I saw the world, and it was like filled with beings of light, and a voice or a knowing that was like this is my will. It's like, okay. Okay, so yeah, enjoy yourself.